Hey, City Life Church, welcome to the last day of Holy Week. It's Friday, the day of Jesus' death. I hope that you have enjoyed these daily devotions that Pastor Justin and I have been putting together for you each day. Again, this is going to be the final one in this series. Can I just encourage you to help us with this YouTube channel? If you could, if you're watching, subscribe to this channel. Also, when you watch a video, please like it. And that's going to help us in the search feature when people are looking for this channel. Again, the City Life Church. So any help that you could give us with that would be greatly appreciated. Let me recommend a book to you. It's a book by Jim Bishop. He's the author. It's called The Day Christ Died. Again, it's entitled The Day Christ Died. If you're looking for some additional study here in the Easter season, Jim Bishop breaks down hour by hour the final day of the life of Christ. So let me give you a timetable. I'm going to put this in the description. I'll put some other details in the description as well, the link to the book. Not every scholar agrees with these details, but most do. And so I feel like this is a good one to follow. There's the Last Supper Thursday evening. We find this in Luke 22:14. There's the events that took place in the Garden of Gethsemane Thursday. Late that night, Matthew 26:36. We have Jesus' arrest. Friday pre-dawn, John 18:12. Jesus going before the high priest, Friday pre-dawn, Luke 22:54. We have Jesus' first appearance before Pilate, Friday early morning, Mark 15:1. And then we have him going before Herod Friday early morning, Luke 23:6-10. Back to Pilate again that same morning, Luke 23:11. We have him being sentenced Friday morning, Luke 23:23-24. And then finally, as we're looking at today here on Friday morning, Jesus' crucifixion around 9 a.m., Mark 15:25. But I want to focus in on today for the Friday of Jesus' death, his crucifixion, are his final words. When we think about Jesus and his life coming to an end, he had 47 final words to leave us with. Those 47 words come from 7 phrases if we're counting them in the King James Bible. It says, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. Number 2 is, today shalt thou be with me in paradise. We have, woman, behold thy son. And then he says also, behold thy mother. My God, why hast thou forsaken me? I thirst, it is finished. And then we see him saying, Father, into thy hands I commend my spirit. Now I want to focus in on the third phrase, which is 7 words. Woman, behold thy son, and behold thy mother. Let's read them together. Let's read the account out of the Gospel of John. It's 19:25. Standing near the cross were Jesus' mother and his mother's sister Mary, and his mother's sister. And then we also have Mary, the wife of Clopas, Mary Magdalene. And when Jesus saw his mother standing there beside the disciple he loved, he said to her. Now, John's writing the gospel, and we know from studying the Gospel of John, when he refers to himself in his own gospel, he often talks about himself in the third person. So there beside the disciple he loved, he said to her, Dear woman, here is your son. Now, this is out of the New Living Translation, so the phraseology is a little different. And he said to this disciple, here is your mother. And from then on, this disciple took her into his home. Now we know in the original language, which the King James oftentimes a little bit closer to it, also the New American Standard, if you want something a little bit more of a literal translation, he uses a word of his day that's translated behold. Now this is an important word for us because when John is writing his gospel, now remember John is there, so he witnesses this event. This is a first-hand account. He tells us that Jesus used a very specific word. There were 6 words that Jesus could have chosen for behold in his day, but he chooses the one that is a command. Now think about when you've got littles and you go to a zoo or to an aquarium or go to a setting, maybe a toy store, where kids are excited and they look at this, look at that, look at this, look at that. They're not being bossy, they're just excited, right? In Jesus' day, there were words like that as well, but this is not the kind of word he uses here. Behold is a bossy word. Behold is a command. And you would only ever use this word if you're giving a command that's followed by something that's incredibly significant. And that's the word that he uses twice here when he tells John that he wants him to see his own mother, and now as his mother, and also for Jesus, for his mother Mary, to see John as her son. It is a command, not a suggestion. Now, we also know when we look at Mark's gospel and overlay it with John's account, we know that someone else is there, and it's another Mary. There's lots of Marys there. And this is Mary Salome. Now, this is significant because Mary Salome is John's biological mother. Mary Salome is the mother of James and John. So it begs the question, does it not, that here is Mary Salome. She's there supporting Mary, the mother of Jesus, who's now losing her son in the most tragic of ways. And it appears that her son is now being taken from her. Here she is trying to support Mary for the loss of her son, and now Jesus is saying, now I'm going to take your son from you to take my place. I wonder if that's how she felt. But I don't think that she did. And here's why. Because Mary Salome, the mother of James and John, she's been with Jesus for some time now. And she's been a part of these conversations where Jesus has been telling them that after he dies, something is going to be birthed that he calls the church. And I think Mary, the mother of James and John, understands in this moment that this is prophetic, that Jesus is saying to her and he's saying to the world that after I go, that if you are one of my disciples, if you are a devoted follower of Christ, then you must make room in your life for a new kind of relationship. It's not the kind of relationship that's going to displace family. It's not the kind of relationship that's going to displace family of origin or family of creation. It's the kind of relationship that's going to be added to all of those other relationships. And in fact, it's not a suggestion, it's a behold. It's a command. Jesus is saying to you and to me, make room in your life for these relationships. Your destiny is desperate for you to know how to trust the right people with the right things at the right time. Let me share that again. Your destiny is desperate for you to know how to trust the right people with the right things at the right time. So here on this Friday, a reflection for you, a reflection for me. Are we walking in obedience to the behold of Christ? Are we making room in our lives for a church family? Do we have a church that we call home? In Judges 21:25, we find that God describes Israel as a nation without a king. And because they had no king, and because they had no ruler, because there was no authority in the land, this verse in Judges tells us that the people did whatever they desired. They did whatever they wanted. So this is my other question to you. How are you living your life? Are you living your life as though you don't have a king? Because we do. And his name is Jesus. And he has the authority to say to us, behold. And one of his beholds to all of us, is to make room in our lives for a church family. To make room in our lives for a relationship that if we don't have it, we will not fulfill our destiny. And we will not play the part that we were created to play, to build the church, to take the gospel to the world. So that concludes our series on Holy Week. If you live in the 757, if you call City Life your home, Newport News or Suffolk campus, join us here at 311 Selden Road for Drive-In Church beginning at 5 o'clock tomorrow. I'll see you there.